I have no idea what day of the week it is. Thursday, maybe? But happy Thursday, everybody. So, with second day with this new camera, I'm a little bit disappointed with the low light, because we watched it, we watched yesterday's video up on the big screen TV, and I was really thinking that this camera would do a lot better in the low light after seeing the Sony. And the Sony did really well in the low light. This one did, kind of like super grainy and like a lot of like trails. Like every time I would move my hand, it would like be a blurry hand. And I didn't like that. But the image stabilization on this one is so good. Like if I were talking right now with the Sony, when I move my hand here, I move this hand too, the one that's holding the camera. And with the Sony, it was shaking all over the place. And that made it hard to watch. But that was the only drawback to the Sony. Like everything else was awesome. Sure, it wasn't like, it's like a professional quality camera. So when we were showing the Spider, I was having a hard time getting it to focus on it. If I had a little bit more time, I could have gotten it to focus on it. So, I mean, I was trying to focus on something really tiny up close. Usually I'll have a little bit more time to do that sort of thing. And I don't do that very often. But I think I would have the same issue with this camera, trying to focus on something up close like that. I don't know, we haven't done it yet. I should probably try to do it, right? But I don't know. It's a hard thing, especially now because that Sony was an open box. We took it back, and then today we're like, oh man, well the Canon's not like all that great. So we called the Best Buy that we returned it to, and they're like, yeah, it's gone. So we'd have to pay full price for it. Well, there's one online that we can order, but it's like, we're just not sure what to do. There's a lot of little factors to it, and I don't know if I like that. Well, I do, I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know which one to pick. I'm having a hard time trying to figure it out. The other thing with the Canon is that the audio is way, like, I don't like it as much as I like the Sony's audio. Sony's audio was phenomenal, but this one, I feel like I'm in like an echoey room. When I turned off the AC right now so I could film, because when the AC's running, that's all we could hear in the background was just the AC going and going and going. And I was like, I don't like that. When we had the Sony, couldn't hear it at all. So, but the Sony was shaky. Okay, so we're still kind of trying to figure out this camera thing. There are a lot of pros to the Sony, and we wrote them all down. We have like a whole list of things that like makes the Sony awesome. But then there's this little image stabilization issue. Like, that makes people sick. We can't have that. Like that, you just can't do that. So it's a big deal. The Canon does a great job. It's a fantastic camera. The low light is not at all what I thought it was going to be compared to the Sony. But there are a few little like adjustments that I can make within the camera to try to help out with that. So we're going to try that tonight when it gets darker, of course. Like right now it's not dark. And see where it goes from there. The good news is, I found out this like touch to focus thing, and it's very nice. And if I really wanted to, I can like lock in on myself so that like before I start recording, I focus on myself and then I lock it so that it doesn't go away. It'll never stop being focused on me, which was something that we noticed about like other people's videos where they were filming themselves, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm focused behind you, now I'm focused on you again. This one is actually doing a really good job of tracking my face right now. And so I could like move over here and it's still focused, it's still like tracking me and seeing that I'm moving, which is great. I don't know, I feel like the audio is not as good on this camera and the low light's not as good. Those are like my two biggest things, and I can't do any manual settings while I'm recording. And I was just thinking about that, like to lock it, I have to lock the focus before I start recording, which, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. This the other thing is I have it recognizing my face, which both cameras do. So it should always focus on me because I programmed my face into the camera. I don't know. There's a lot of like camera talk going on right now, but this is just what's happening with us. I think we're gonna watch Toy Story 2 tonight because that's our next Disney movie is Toy Story 2. See, okay, just to give you some perspective, the Sony, when I move my hand, that moves this hand, and I think I already talked about this, but like it would have been bouncing all over the place with this, like while we were recording just now, but this one's not bouncing at all, which is great. Bouncing a little tiny bit, but not very much. And this isn't even the highest image stabilization setting on this camera. All right, I wanted to come outside and show you guys the pool and get some more like I don't know, daylight video so you guys can see what this camera looks like. But the pool's looking a lot better. It's not as, it's like not green. It's just a little bit cloudy now. That should clear up, you know, soonish. But yeah, it's looking good. Let's see, I'm gonna try to focus on Bandit, make sure it's focused on him. Oh no, it's focused on the pool. Who's like cutting stuff? I wonder if it can't, like, it can't, there it goes. It found Bandit. Now it's focused on him. Sort of. Yeah. It's following him. Oh no, and now it's focused on the grass. Stay with Bandit. There you go. Yeah, the camera's doing pretty good. Alright, so I do kind of like this touch to focus stuff. What are you doing? You just like stopped and started sniffing stuff. Let's see if we can get it to focus on Armani. Find him. Find him. There he is. Oh no, he's pooping. Focus on Bandit. Yeah. Oh, now he's peeing. Here's the ultimate test. Focus on the sky, right? Flip up the screen. Now focus on me. I don't know, did it work? I think so, but it's bright out here, so I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't know. All right, yay, sunshine. I wanted to apologize. I didn't realize that the spiders were such a, like, everybody hated spiders so much, but we put a lot of spiders in yesterday's video, and I'm sorry. It didn't like click, because I don't know, I'm not like the hugest fan of spiders, but I don't mind spiders. They're good, they eat all the bugs, so I'm sorry for putting so many spiders in yesterday's video. All right, I'm gonna try to do some like macroing to something else, like a far away thing. I don't know what I'm gonna focus on next. How about there's a chimenea over here to the right here, let's see. Chimenea. Find me a chimenea. Yeah, I think it did it. That's pretty good. A little bit dark, but that's not bad. Here's a fun question. I wonder what it's gonna do if I go from lightness into darkness, how quickly it'll adjust. So far it's not doing so good at like adjusting to the lightness. I don't know. Oh, there, finally. There we go. There we are. Okay, so literally nobody said that the Sony was better. So I think we might be sticking with this one, the Canon, the G7X, because none of you guys, nobody was like, you know what, the Sony's better. Everybody's like, oh, I like the Canon better. I like the Canon better. So I don't know, maybe the only thing that the Sony had going for it was low light. And the low light was a big deal, especially at like horror nights and stuff like that. But we'll see tonight. Like I said, we're gonna test some other things out on this camera and see if we can kind of tweak it a little bit. And so just so you guys know, if you ever are watching the video and I reach over top like this, I'm just trying to refocus the camera on myself. Like maybe it's like lost focus on me. I don't know what it's doing now. It's on manual focus now for some reason. What? So, I just realized something with this camera. Now that I understand that I have to have the viewfinder up so I can see where the focus is, that'll help block wind if wind is coming at the microphone. So, I mean, there's a plus right there. Let's watch Toy Story 2. Time to watch Toy Story 2. Yay! Yay! I figured I'd take this opportunity to do something twofold and check out the low light setting with my exposure, or my exposure compensation turned all the way up, and then like see how it did and talk to you guys about Toy Story 2, which was a really fun movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know what else to say about it. It was fun. I liked it. That's actually really funny. I was looking at the camera and I noticed the light change and I was like, what did the camera just do? It wasn't the camera. The TV changed pictures, and so it like changed the background color. Like you see my shadow here on the wall from the TV. So, but I think that this looks pretty good. Like all in all, it is a little bit, do you see how my fingers are like blurry? But that's okay. I mean, for low light, I think it does fairly well. Not quite as good as the Sony, but still a lot better than the other Canon that we had before this one. Here's something that's interesting is I turned the ISO all the way up. See if that changes anything. Rather than just the exposure settings, I turned the ISO way up. So hopefully that kind of gets rid of some of like the weird like graininess in the background and maybe makes this a little bit nicer. I don't know. It's all a process of me trying to figure out what I think might be the best option and trying to go with that. So far this is pretty good. It's very dark over in this corner. That's kind of why I chose this corner to film in. I have found a little bit of an issue with the autofocus lock, but that's okay because I think I found a slight workaround around it where I focus it on myself facing the other way and then I just turn around. But it's no big deal. We will make our way through this camera. We'll muddle our way through some of the settings and that sort of thing. But I think I've got like a lasso around this camera. Let me know what you guys think. Also, Toy Story 2 is awesome. It was a good night. feel fantastic about. I think we're gonna keep this camera, I think. Because so far, it's doing okay, it's doing pretty good. Everybody yesterday in the comments said that you guys liked it, so here. The stabilization is awesome. The image quality is really good. The low light is not as good as I'd like for it to be, but I think I can live with where it's at. So I will see you guys tomorrow.
And now it's time to pay the price.